Hey,
Hi everyone. Good morning, Shivam. How are you doing?
Saurabh, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. From what it looks like, from what you're wearing, you're in Florida. Are you in Florida?
Yeah, I just came back from swimming.
Okay. So today we are going to talk about idol worship, and we will try to contextualize a few verses from the Bhagavad Gita in order to analyze idol worship, right? So the normal concept behind idol worship is you have a murti or the physical form of Krishna or Rama or a Kali in your house, right? And what we think is the god that we pray to in our house versus the god in Vaikunt or the god in the Shiva in Kailash is different, but that's not actually the case. When you do that, when you do this thing of God is here but not there, you have sort of limited God. But isn't God limitless? As we have seen in our previous lectures, all pervading Sat Chit Anand is that one ultimate God that we see. And the central message that I'd like to reveal to you is the concept of seeing that one divinity alone in everything that we see. We are surrounded by that ocean of divinity in everything that we see. So normally, what the case with idol worship is, there'll be a murti, the physical murti made of clay or any root material, and we are seeing consciousness in that clay, right? It's not the physical clay that we are praying to. Otherwise, why would we have a visarjan? Like if you look at any village celebration of Durga Puja in any city back in India, you will see on the 10th day or the final day of the Durga Puja, the god, there'll be a visarjan ceremony that will happen, meaning the physical form made of clay of god will be submerged in the river and you let go of that shape. So if it was actually the murti that we are connected to, why would we submerge that? Because it's not the murti that we are praying to, it's actually the consciousness. It's not clay, it's consciousness that we are praying to. And now we'll just jump into the verses into chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita. And there's this one verse that we would like to see, and the central teaching from this verse, which we are trying to gauge, is to see that one divinity through everything, through every experience. So I'll share my screen. So this verse is chapter 4, verse 24. This is one of my very good verses that I like, because you will generally find this verse being uttered when having food. So who doesn't like a plate of nicely cooked food, right? So this verse, which says Brahma Arpanam Brahmavi, right? So we'll just jump back to the translation where Sri Krishna says, "For those who are completely absorbed in God consciousness, the oblation is Brahman. The ladle with which it is offered is Brahman. The act of offering is also Brahman, and the sacrificial fire is also Brahman. Such persons who view everything as God easily attain him," right? So here, what is happening? Here, Sri Krishna is talking about the ancient Vedic sacrifice, the ancient Vedic ritual. You would have seen that in many Bollywood movies, right? There'll be a square-shaped yagya sort of a thing that is arranged, and there'll be a priest who will be putting ghee, and there'll be fire and all that. So here Sri Krishna is trying to tell that the whatever the entire element of this action of yagya, every element, every component of that action of yagya, of the Vedic ritual of yagya, there is Brahman everywhere. The oblation is Brahman. The ladle meaning the wooden spoon with which the priest puts the ghee, the clarified butter in the ceremony, that is also Brahman. And if you look at Shankaracharya's commentary, he also says na arpanam tat brahma. No, it's not the ladle, it's Brahman. He also says na havi tat brahma. It's not the clarified butter, it's not ghee, it's Brahman. So that's the whole point, is to see God in every experience. And how do we apply this concept to our daily life, right? So in today's world, nobody is asking you to perform a Vedic ritual, right? Here, a Vedic ritual, you can think it in a sense that of your day-to-day actions. Every action that you see, you observe God in that, in that action. Here, as for here, for example, in this action, the action that we're talking about is a Vedic ritual of a Vedic fire ritual, right? Where Krishna says every component of that action is where you see Brahman in that. The oblation is Brahman, the offering is Brahman, the ladle is Brahman, the fire is Brahman. So similarly, in our day-to-day life, where we are involved in the world, where we are involved in our work, the work is Brahman. The individual, each and every component of the action, there is Brahman in that. The result of the action is also Brahman. So the good or bad, whatever comes in that action, there is Brahman in that. So you see that one divinity alone in every action that you do. And this vision, Shankaracharya calls it Brahma Drishti, wherein every individual action of yours, you see God in everything. And that is the whole point of idol worship. The whole point of idol worship is to convey this thought of seeing Brahman in everywhere, that every action that we see. Now this theory is further reinforced by the Lord, by Sri Krishna in several verses, where he highlights that I am the one in everything that you see. We are surrounded by an ocean of God. So we look at some other verses also. We look at chapter 9, verse 16. Look at the translation here. It is I who am the Vedic ritual. I am the sacrifice. I am the oblation. I am the medicinal herb. I am the Vedic mantra.
Yes, neither.
I am the fire. Even I am the syllable Om. I am the Rig Ved, the Sam Ved. Everything is, we are surrounded by an ocean of immanent God, immanence of the divine. We look at one more verse. He again says, it is I who take the form of digestion. Even the form of digestion that we have, that is also Brahman. Every smallest action that we do, like digestion, there's Brahman in there. Now, like in this chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called Vibhuti Yoga, or the glories of God, there also Krishna says, from me alone rises the varieties of qualities in humans, such as intellect, knowledge, clarity of thought, forgiveness, truthfulness, mind, joy and sorrow, birth and death, fear and courage, non-violence, everything. Sri Krishna is declaring to us that everything that we see is that one divinity alone, one shining light of divinity through every experience that we see. We look at more verses here. Chapter 10, verse 6. The seven great sages, where he says that is also Brahman. We'll jump to now verse 20, where Sri Krishna says, I am the beginning, middle, and end of all beings. In verse 21, among the 12 sons of Aditi, know me to be Vishnu, know me to be the Marichi amongst the Maruts. Even in verse 22, I am the Samveda. Like it goes on and on, where the Lord is highlighting his glories. Know me amongst the Rudras, know me to be Shankar. Amongst the demons, I am Kuber. I am Agni, I am the fire. And know me to be the most beautiful Mount Meru among the mountains. So why do you think in traditional tribal cultures, they'll also pray to nature? They'll find divinity in the mountains. And this thought is not just limited to Sanatan Dharma. Even if you look at the Canadian indigenous cultures, there also you'll find the prayer of the people praying to the mountains, people praying to nature, people praying to the smallest element of nature. So the clear message that we are getting is to see that one divinity in everything that we see, in that one shining light of consciousness in every experience of our life. And that is the central message that Krishna is trying to highlight, and that is what we should see from idol worship. The God that I'm praying to, versus the experience that I'm having in our day-to-day life, there's God in there. The same reverence that I have, the same devotion, the same love, the unconditional love that I have towards the Lord when I'm doing my puja at my home, I'll have the same reverence, I'll have the same respect in my day-to-day interaction with anyone. When I'm interacting with you, when I'm interacting with my boss, when I'm interacting with my friends, when I'm performing my day-to-day duties, whatever is coming to me, I see that one ultimate divinity alone in everything that I see. And this concept is there. It's like it's pervaded everywhere, because even if you look at how our naming was done, right? If you look at in villages, generally children will be given the names of names of the deity. It's so common. Names like Ashutosh. I don't know that the name of Ashutosh actually means Shiva, auspicious. I don't know what Shivam means. Do you know what your name means, Shivam? Is it also related to God?
Shivam is the alternate name of Lord Shiva only.
Exactly.
Shivam, like
So you see that the science behind naming of kids also is God. And why is that? Is to see the divinity alone. I don't know. I don't think my name means anything related to God, but the practice was to see that divinity alone. That's why children are named after God, and that is the central message which we are trying to see. And even in there's one more verse, like Isha Upanishad, the first verse, where Shankaracharya's commentary, he says that whatever moveth on the earth, the movable, the immovable, everything is that one divinity alone. So the goal is to see that shining light of divinity through every action, every thought, every speech, in everything that we do, is to see, we should see that one divinity alone. Swami Vivekananda also has a beautiful commentary where I remember reading his books back when I was in 10th grade. Somebody offered me a book, and that time I was not aware. And he defined religion. He said his definition of religion, one of the most exquisite definition of religion, where he says that religion is the manifestation of divinity already present in man. So what does this mean? Already present in man is we are that ultimate reality. Sat Chit Anand. We are the one with God. I and God are one and the same. Tat Vam Asi. Okay. So the first part is knowing that you are that ultimate reality. And knowing that is not hard, is not that easy. And that's why he says is to manifest that divinity, manifest this knowledge of Tattvam Asi. And how do you manifest that? By having qualities and attributes of fearlessness, unselfishness, unconditional love for others, utmost reverence for others, ultimate neutrality, seeing, approaching everything that you comes to you as that one divinity alone, seeing the same underlying divinity through every experience. Most in the most pleasant experience, you see that one divinity. In the most unpleasant experience, you see the same underlying divinity. Even in the best of circumstances, or in the worst of circumstances, you see the same one divinity shining through that. And this is what Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda means by the manifestation of the divinity within us. And even same like the Sam Altman's famous tweet, he also says that what I believe is the absolute equivalence of Brahman and Atman. That's what even Sam Altman said in one of his famous tweets. And Swami Vivekananda, I think that's why he's one of the most practical spiritualists of our times. And he during back in the 1800s, he was publishing this free translations of the greatest knowledge of the world has ever received, like all the Upanishads, all the Vedas. He was just translating it and providing it for the public for free, like open source. We think that open source has come now in the technical world where people just make open source contributions in software and all, but but we see that leaders like Swami Vivekananda, Adi Shankaracharya were providing this contribution fee for everyone back in those time itself. So the central teaching is the Krishna that I love, that I pray to, is right here through everything, through one that and every experience. The Krishna, the Narayana in Vaikunt, the Shiva in Kailasha, the Durga in Shivam. Do you know the heavenly abode of Durga, of Ma Durga, where it is?
I think just next to it, Lord Shiva.
Oh, whatever. I don't know. I would say the Durga in my heart. So yeah. So whatever it is, like so whatever the Durga in my heart, or the Krishna in Vaikuntha, versus the Krishna that I pray to, versus the Krishna in the temple, versus the Krishna in every experience. It's that one divinity alone in every experience that we see. And that is the central message here. And this chapter on chapter 4, it's called, the name of the chapter given by Shankaracharya is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Sannyasa, not in the sense of giving up the world, not in the sense of giving up the world. Sannyasa in the sense of you realize the falsification of karma. You realize that you are not the doer. The doer is that one ultimate reality alone. And that's why you perform your actions. But how do you perform your actions? By being detached. You realize the falsification of karma, so you will continue to do your karma. But how? But by being unattached. And that is what Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga means. Means that not the ultimate sacrifice of karma. You can't do that. Shri Krishna has said you cannot function for 1 second without doing karma. So you spiritualize your day-to-day actions by seeing that one divinity alone, and that is what the whole point of Murti Puja is, and that's what the central teaching of the Vedanta is. Vedanta is not for wiping out the experience of the world. Vedanta doesn't say, okay, mom, now I have read the Upanishad, now I have read the Gita, I'm packing my bags and going off to the mountains. I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. No. Even Arjuna wanted to do the same thing as we know in the Gita. He wanted to give up. He wanted to go to the mountains, but Krishna said, no, be in this world. Fight the war. Same sense. Don't give up what you're supposed to do. Do your duty. What you're supposed to do without being attached to the results. That is the central teaching of the Vedanta. That's why Vivekananda said Vedanta is one of the most rational ways to approach life. Vedanta doesn't mean you discard the world. Vedanta means you understand the world so that it may not hurt you. And that is the central teaching that we sort of derive when we are doing murti puja. So the next time when you're doing murti puja, just remember that the ultimate devotion that you have when you're doing murti puja, the ultimate reverence that you have when you're doing murti puja, the unconditional love that you're having towards the murti when you are praying to the god, have that same devotion, have that same respect in your day-to-day actions, in your day-to-day interactions, in whatever you're doing. Know that everything that you see, everything that happens to you is that one divinity alone. In the good times also is that one shining light, even in the bad times also it's that one shining light. So yeah, that's what I wanted to highlight in the context of murti puja, by analyzing it through the lens of Bhagavad Gita. And yeah, Shivam, you have any thoughts or any inputs to add on this?
Yeah, I think that was very insightful. And yeah, I mean, like even when I see, you know, personally, when it's I mean, yeah, God is limitless, as you said, and it's present everywhere, and that's the beautiful message of all that you talked about. And even when I move around, I wear a special locket, and I try to connect. I actually am very connected with that. When I don't find it in my neck, I am like I'm very at times I feel lost and all that. So yeah, I mean there is a very special touch, when we try to relate with things. It also even if you see in those angles, when we try to get closer and maybe make things more relatable towards god, in those cases also it helps to build a very strong connection. So I think not just from that lens, there is lots of perspective which may reinforces this relationship of a devotee with the god, and
Right.
that way it is also very positive. So yeah, I mean there is lot to this, and I definitely agree to everything that you said. The way it's all been designed and conceptualized, it's so valid even today. And whenever we, let's say, whenever we think of a specific god, like Lord Hanuman or maybe Krishna, Lord Krishna, or any god, we always get that picture which helps us to connect, and that connection is so strong. I mean, that actually is a very strong experience, or you can say that very strong emotion that you feel, the connection with that divine through those manifestations. So yeah, I mean it's a very positive way of redirecting towards something big. And of course, we all know that god is limitless and everywhere. He is omnipresent. From a small atom to entire universes, he is everywhere. So no denying on that. But when it comes to feeling that kind of connect, feeling that kind of emotion, and on top of that, whatever you said, like seeing them everywhere, that makes it very sensible, and that makes you feel and respect the things around you to the greater extent. Like, I mean, that's a very cool thing about Sanatan Dharma. I actually love it. Like, not just animals. We also worship plants. We also worship mountains, which is very cool. Like, that's how you live in a co-harmony with the nature, and you respect everything, and you know the actual importance of the almighty which is present in every single entity, which is very cool, and which actually touches you from all angles. Like from even if you're walking in a park or wherever, you if you start observing it this way, it actually feels very heartwarming and very touching. So yeah, I totally agree to what you said.
Yeah, exactly. Like same in Vedanta also. Like in the midst of whenever we are entangled in the world, in our day-to-day actions, dualistic actions, where we haven't realized yet that me and God, the central message of the Vedanta, Tattvamasi, that thou art, you and God are one and the same. When we haven't realized that, in the midst of those dualistic actions, we see God, and that will enable us to get this knowledge, to understand that ultimate knowledge of Tattvamasi in a more approachable way, where we see god in everything. And so whatever comes to you, good and the bad, there's the lord in it. And that's the whole point of Vedanta. And this is what enables you to remain unaffected ultimately. And it's a good way to derive this knowledge by the context of murti puja. So yeah, that's all we had for today. I hope you have a good day ahead, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, Shivam. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Saurav. I hope you have a good day too. Nice